Okay, hello. I hope everybody can hear me and see me at the moment. Just to quickly introduce the company Studiotech and myself. Studiotech is located very near Evere in Brussels, very near the Decathlon and the new NATO headquarters. We mainly are an integrator company who is also reseller of brands such as Sony, Evertz, HP, Cisco, AEQ, and lots of other. In my presentation, I will go over solutions that we provide based on NDI technology and 2110. NDI is at the moment, I think, very familiar among broadcasters in Belgium and around. NDI, just to have a brief explanation of what is NDI. NDI is a network device interface that's mainly used in IP-based workflows, but the initial development was done by Newtek. The nice thing is on NDI that it's implemented in many products, and it's adopted by many manufacturers in terms of or HDMI converters to NDI streams. This is all done simply over one Cat5 network cable, and the interconnection is done by simple power over Ethernet COTS switches. Now, if you talk about bit rates, that is handled over the cable, then you go for a HD signal 1080i, you go from 100 to 140 megabit per second, and then you have a 60 frame per second image for 140 megabits. There is a smaller sort of proxy version of the NDI, which is NDI HX, which is a bit rate between 8 and 20 megabits. Average, it will be about 15. And then we have the HD, which is done by the 4K camera, by some 4K cameras in the market, which go from 300 until 450 megabits per second. All the available cameras in the market, most of them are PTZs, of course. They all allow power over Ethernet and DC power. So it's very, very simple to use one Cat cable. That is the only thing you need to connect an NDI camera. Very nice thing on NDI platform or system is that you also once you connect an NDI source and it appears on the network, it's advertised automatically by any NDI production switcher or a production device. It's auto discovery, actually. One other thing which is important is that over the same network, all the controls for the PTZ camera can be transferred, as well as tele and intercom. So you just have one cable to allow one source to be connected to the production device. An NDI is of course a compression, because it's a codec that's compared to 2110 is a low-cost solution, but is as well as it's considered as lossless as well. So once it's compressed in the system, there is no further image loss or quality loss throughout the chain. It's also supporting multicast, so you preserve bandwidth by just broad multicasting on the network, the IP stream, the NDI stream, so it can be accessed by any production system installed on the same network. We are, in terms of products we support for NDI, we are reseller of BirdDog, and we also supply solutions where we use the Newtek production switchers. To go over quickly, I don't want to go too much in detail about each product. I think if you go to the website, and you can find all information about them, you can see that BirdDog is one of the manufacturers that has the biggest portfolio in NDI products. It's exclusively NDI. You see that there are a lot of cameras which are supporting HD, and There is one, the last camera they released was the P4K. Specific for connectivity in terms of intercom, they provide as well headsets that can be plugged in and work like a plug-and-play solution. On one hand, there are, of course, customers who are using the classical cameras, which do not have any NDI interface there. Therefore, BirdDog supplies encoder and decoder products like the Studio NDI, which was actually the first product that BirdDog brought on the market. It's a small form factor NDI encoder decoder, where you have SDI in and HDMI in and out. So loop through is also available. You have the BirdDog mini encoders, small form factors, who are also power over Ethernet and DC powered. Then some other smaller encoders as well for 4K are the Flex 4s. The Flex 4 in HDMI connection and is compatible with the mainstream camera, shoulder cameras and other cameras that are on the market. It's in a form as with backpack, so you can actually connect it to a monitor and power on the monitor as well to put on top of your camera, on the shoe of your camera. We have the Flex Out, which is actually the small decoder with HDMI out, of course. The nice thing on these Flex items are the halo tally light that's visible completely around the device when it's in use in a studio or in a production environment. It's also because it's embedded in the NDI stream. PTZ control is available for PTZ cameras that are connected to it. The camera that I discussed already was the P4K. Here you can see the resolution that it's supported. It's a full Ultra HD camera, which is one of the first on the market that has an NDI interface. One thing which is rather new within the product line of BirdDog is BirdDog Cloud. It's an NDI management software which you need to you install, for example, a small application on your laptop. Then you connect to the cloud service with BirdDog. You register the endpoints. Any endpoint can be a source or a destination. Now, the reason why they brought this on the market is that it allows integration of NDI camera sources throughout the internet and can be used in any production anywhere in the world. The technology they use for this is the SRT. It's also including, of course, the tally functionality that we had in the normal NDI. So the normal NDI protocols are supported like tally and ITC intercom. The delay is about 1.5 seconds latency, so it's very for people who are looking at feeds remotely. Further, as everybody probably know, there are many NDI tools available on internet or to download, such as a Studio Monitor, where you can actually see on your local network all the feeds that are coming in. If you use BirdDog Cloud, then you see also these feeds. In this monitor, you can have a test pattern. There is a plugin for VLC, and there are many other tools. It's also available. If you type in NDI tools, then you get access to the site where you can download them free of charge. Once again, it's a small overview of what we can do, what can be realized with NDI. In a local production environment. So every individual device on the left-hand side that's connected to the LAN, this can be a virtual NDI, this can be a smartphone. All applications exist to install on these devices to prepare them as a source for the production switcher. Now, to come back to something which a project that we recently have deployed is a project that we do with Netflix. For example, Netflix is doing productions in studio in Brussels. And the problem is with COVID, of course, that producers cannot be on site and want to have a close look to what's happening in the studio during production. So they use Bird Cloud to have, for example, in New York, Los Angeles, and London, to have the production feeds. These can be the cameras individually. They have a quad split visible, and they can select themselves in high quality the camera feed that they would like to see and would like to follow. There's also communication, intercom communication with the production studio from these parts of the world. Yeah, NDI can be considered as a low-cost, very simple and very flexible system to do video productions. Of course, everybody in this who follows this presentation is already aware, also by the previous companies who did the presentation about 2110. Studiotech is a reseller of all Evertz products. And one of the products that I want to highlight in the next slides is the Scorpion. The Scorpion is actually an contribution processing. I just got one slide too far. A media processing platform who can be your buddy in any production that you need to do, or any contribution application that you require to transport signals or to do some processing. Now, if someone is considering purchasing a distribution device, a converter device, a processing device, then Scorpion can do the job in any kind. What are the features of this platform? It supports all interfaces that you can think of. It goes from SD to HD to 3G to 12G. All these signals can be aggregated and transported over trunk lines, for which there are SFPs in the Scorpion platform or in the device. It does HDMI aggregation and transport as well over fiber. In terms of audio, we support every audio which is analog, AS, MADI, and Dante. We also can generate over the same trunk line from Scorpion a LAN connection, which can be 10, 100, or 1 gigabit tunneling. At the same time, the platform, when you add a plus net add adapter, then we can do encapsulation and decapsulation as MPT 2110 and 2022. It handles as well PTP. You can do encapsulate in 2110, but you can also add compression to the feeds. Compression supported are codecs that are highly made for heavy-duty broadcast applications, which is JPEG XS and JPEG 2000. As I will discuss further in the next coming slides, is that it's also Scorpion can also handle electronic to optic conversion and routing, internal routing. It handles, as I already said, 4K in terms of 12 gig SDI, one connection, or through Quadlink. The SFP trunks that are available in the SFPs are 10, 25 gig, or only for the X18 platform, on which I come back in the next slide, it's 1400 gig supported. There is one component that you can fit in the Scorpion, that's the MioBlade Z21, on which I also will further have. This is a complete FPGA device that is app dependent in terms of processing. All Scorpion products, because we have 4 in total, all the Scorpion products have integrated test generator and SDI analyzers. The platform is completely controlled by Magnum, Evertz Magnum. Magnum is already a long time control system for all Evertz solutions in the market. It can be controlled by Vistalink Pro, which is the network management system from Evertz, through SNMP. It's as well as through Insight and View. Insight is the big data analytics software that Evertz is using on all IP related installations in the world. These are just an overview of all the interfaces that we can handle with Scorpion, which is all serial protocols as we know them at the moment. These are the platforms. We have the Scorpion X18, which is a 1RU contribution device and processing device. We have the Scorpion 6. Why does it shift? Sorry. We have the Scorpion 6, which is recently introduced as an addition to what we already had in the Scorpion. We have the Scorpion 2 and Scorpion 4, which are considered as throw-down edge devices. Throw-down edge devices means that these are end devices where we do the decapsulation from a 2110 stream to HDMI, video output, or SDI, or any other interface. It can be video or audio. The X18, the concept of Scorpion is that it's basically using small miniatures. It has several slots, and you can fit it in with MIOs, which are miniature I/O concept devices that support any interface that I showed in the previous slides. So it really depends. It's a very flexible platform. It really depends on which signals and you want to use, if it's analog or it's out, it's digital, it's 4K, it's 3G, it's HD. There is a complete list of MIO modules that exist within Evertz. The list is available. There is also a configurator tool online, so you can actually configure your own Scorpion platform or your Scorpion device. It's completely up to you what you want to do with it. You have to understand that there is also, it's completely 18 slots, but I think I will go to the next slide, which shows it better. It's high density and fully modular, which means you can actually plug in any MIO in the device on the backhand side. The front side is equipped with SFPs, which you can, through these SFPs, you can actually do a conversion from optical to digital. There is in total at the back end, there are 18 single slots for MIO modules, which means it's 9 for dual slots, because there are also dual slots modules available for this platform. Inside the device, there is also an 80 by 80 12G cross point, which allows to be very, very flexible in routing all the inputs and outputs to anywhere, and also to a net adapter is available in the device that you require to pull or to push SMPTE 2110 streams over the trunk connections that you have on the device. The trunk allows to do transport over simultaneously over IP or over dark fiber. So as you can see, there is, as you can see in the text, there is a 10, 101 gig and 10 gig Ethernet support. It's very easy to have two Scorpion X18 devices remotely from each other, connected in between by fiber, and to just tunnel your Ethernet LAN from one location to the other location. You can have power modules in the device built in, or you can have external power supply depending on what power you require from the device. This is the X18. We also have the Scorpion 6, which is mainly the same, only it's, of course, due to its dimensions, it's limited to 6 single slots or to 3 dual slots. And the 4 SFP ports as well to support 10 or 25 gig trunking towards the network. It's a fanless device, which is not the same as the X18. The X18 has fans built in for cooling. We have the Scorpion 4, which has 4 single slots available, and 4 SFPs to also do the trunking. These are also a fanless device. Another fanless device is the Scorpion 2, which is a very nice solution to get to do the decapsulation or the transport to a video signal that's connecting to a monitor, for example, in a studio or otherwise. One particular MIO that's developed by Evertz is the Blade 6Z21. It's actually a FPGA accelerated compute blade, which is completely, the functionality of this blade is completely defined by applications that you install onto it. The applications you install on this device is through the frame controller of the X18 or the Scorpion 6 or the Scorpion 4 or the Scorpion 3. What you can do with this module is that this module on its own, for example, if you add the app, then you can do 2 encoding and 2 decoding in JPEG XS immediately on the blade itself. It does not need to be processed internally in the Scorpion X18. These can be sent over to the trunk, so you can connect it to any switching fabric to be able to use these signals and route them to any other location. There's some sort of use cases that I would like to have discussed with you in terms of showing how you can aggregate Scorpion X18s like you see on the drawing. We can, for example, have a use case where there's a remote studio where you have all these interfaces that are transferred over dark fiber or IP, or you can go to an IP switch, Evertz IP switch, to be able to use a control room for multiple studios, for example. Just to finalize, the Evertz has a lot of solutions for SDVN applications and have a lot of installations worldwide. As an overview of all the products that are in the product line within Evertz are shown in this drawing. We have SPGs who are providing the PTP synchronization to all the devices in a system. We have IP domain multi-viewers, we have contribution, we have encoding, transcoding, audio gateways, video gateways. We can encapsulate, decapsulate feeds, SDI, 4K, anything is possible with all these product line. I think I will end my presentation here. If there are any questions on what has been proposed, if you are looking for a Burdock solution, NDI solution, 2110 solution, you can always contact me or my colleague, Peter Natovic, where you can see all the both mail addresses at the end of the slides.